So there are a bunch of little differences on mobile homes that are a big deal, so that you make money on them. But our overall big picture structure, they're not that different than houses.
Well, let's go over those differences.
Yeah.
All right, so the biggest one I like to point out is the polyurethane. I think I actually said that right. It's a word I can't say very easy. What you need to know about it is it's gray plumbing. It's from the 80s. If you see the gray plumbing in the 80s, it fails. There is no if, or maybe, it might not. It fails. There's a class action lawsuit against it. And even if it is in good structure, it's working, they replaced all the fittings and put shark bites. And if the insurance sees it, from my experience in any pictures, they're not going to cover you. And so why even go the expensive route, put all the shot right? You got to replace that. It's not that hard to replumb them, but it's not fun if it's not in your budget. So we've got those. If we're talking about the older ones, the 1960s, 1970s, I already mentioned the particle board floors. Those, if you've never gotten them wet, particle board, they disintegrate, they explode, they fall apart. They're glued together sawdust. So I've been in mobile homes that feel really good structure, but then when I look on it from underneath, I can see, oh, it's all particle board. And we want to go ahead and put that in our budget to replace all of that so we don't find out, 6 months later when you move someone in there and they start getting it all wet. Oh, now we have to redo all the flooring. It's not that hard to redo the flooring. It's not that expensive.
Yep.
I have one thing that's been coming a lot more recently when it comes to the fix and flip side. So if we're going to buy it and resell it to a homeowner, they're going to go get a traditional mortgage on the home. If the home has ever been moved, so it's original install, if it's ever been moved since then, it cannot get bank financing. I'll say that again. If it's ever been moved from its original install, it cannot get bank financing. Don't find that out when you're trying to close to your end buyer. You need to know that ahead of time. There is a small exception for a VA loan. Personally, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket to a VA buyer that has a mortgage broker that understands mobile homes. I've only heard of like a handful closed in the whole country. So there is that tiny exception, but please do that research ahead of time. How do you find out? Ask your title company. Honestly, for me, I just ask the sellers. I haven't had any be dishonest with me. How do they find out? They do. I don't know. That's not my world. Ask the mortgage brokers how they find out. But look into that because I'm hearing more and more people having to scramble at the closing, and now they can't do it. They either have to sell it with a owner financing, but you could still make good money. But you want to know these things going into it because your price should drop that you pay.
Yeah.
That's another challenge for it. I've bought multiple like that. I like them. I have less competition, but the value of the home is lower because I have one less exit strategy I can use.